Yeah.
You want to delve right into this Purple Tape conversation, man, because you and I have Purple Tape in our top fives.
Yeah, I was about to say the bulk of the show should really probably be.
I want to talk about what albums do you think is actually better than the Purple Tape.
Okay, so I'm glad that you're starting there. So here's what I really thought about.
How many albums are better than the Purple Tape?
In its totality, Mike, I honestly don't think there is a better rap album. And this is what I'm saying when I'm saying in its totality. I think Illmatic's more important and musically just as good, if not greater. But it is only 9 records.
It has something Illmatic doesn't.
Yeah,
A few things it does.
Has more than 9 records.
Well, it has a hit, a big hit, Ice Cream.
Ice Cream's not a big hit, Mike.
You don't think so?
No, it's not a big hit.
You don't think that Ice Cream is much bigger than anything on Illmatic? It was a hit for the time, man, for real. Like, I remember seeing Ice Cream all the time. It wasn't like Shadowbox where I had to search for it, stay up for it. You know?
I don't think it's bigger in people's mind than It Ain't Hard to Tell or The World Is Yours. I
really?
think it's in the same territory. Yes, honestly.
What do y'all think in the chat?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell me, like, even if you feel like the song is better, like the classic nature of it, or even how it got played countdown-wise on a Rap City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I hate to be the one to break it to you. Yeah, but Mike, Ice Cream was never even #1 on Rap City's countdown.
Was it?
No.
Not? Come on.
No,
right,
it wasn't. No.
Leroy Green with the super chat says,
was
what
number
up,
2,
fellas?
because I'll Be There For You was out around the same time, and so Ice Cream
that's
never.
a monster hit.
Yeah.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, what up, fellas? The third member of A2HH.
No, we're going to get your ass in a minute, Leroy.
Yeah, yeah. You stick around, Leroy,
Yeah,
because I got some questions.
Yeah.
What do the people say?
We'll be right-
Yeah. People saying, yeah, Ice Cream was a hit.
No, you said big hit. I didn't say it wasn't a hit.
Okay, let's talk about 1995 then. What do you consider a big hit in hip hop?
I think
Dear Mama?
Well, that's just something else. I don't even know if it's fair to do that. But I'll Be There For You would be the prime example of a hit for hip hop in 1995.
A big hit.
That's a big hit in 1995.
One
The
More
Crossroads,
Chance.
One More Chance.
Okay.
That's a big hit.
It has a hit then.
It's a classic hit, if that's what I would call it. That's a classic song that is also a hit song, like Let Me Ride by Dr. Dre.
I think it's bigger than every song on Illmatic. So I would say it has.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That has to do with the hook. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk about meth and like all of this anyway. I got a lot of personal stuff to say because like this is the album that actually made me a hip hop head and a Wu-Tang fan. And I'm going to kind of like, yeah.
Elaborate.
Well, I'm only 13 when this album comes out. So are you. So, well, no. Let's not even go right there.
Ice Cream was big for me.
Yeah, ice cream's your thing. You overrate Ice Cream, but I feel all the things that you feel about Ice Cream. It's not even the best beat on there, but that's a whole other conversation.
It's one of the best produced albums ever. So,
well, that's the conversation that we need to have first. But probably. How about this?
There's so many places to go here.
Right, that's what I mean. We need to really section off where we should go. First of all, the whole Illmatic thing, it's like, well, Illmatic has 9 songs. And even if you feel like all 9 songs are classic, listen to what I'm about to say to you. The Purple Tape has 9 classic songs on it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
I don't think One Time for Your Mind's classic. I think it's a good song.
I'm just providing some context for some people that feel end to end. It's like, oh, well, every song on Illmatic's flawless. It's like, okay, so let's say that. There are 9 flawless songs on the Purple Tape.
For sure.
And it's literally double the songs. So what I would tell you is that I don't think I've ever heard a rap album that ascends the way the Purple Tape ascends. It's like, for something that's frighteningly good early on, like the B-side to the Purple Tape, like the actual B-side, which starts off with Shark Biters, well, Mike, that's the second half of that's the best second half of any rap album in the history of rap.
The second half is crazy.
The second half of the Purple Tape is the best second half of any album in rap history. There's not even anything close. And if we want to talk about,
even if we look at the stuff on the wall,
no. They don't want no.
They falter off.
They don't falter.
I mean,
but they don't ascend.
They don't ascend. Even
no, it doesn't ascend. It doesn't ascend.
One of my favorite songs on Aquemini is "Y'all Scared,"
but it doesn't ascend. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is it's like, no, the second half of Aquemini is not like the second half of the Purple Tape. Like, nothing is like that.
I think the first half of Aquemini is arguably, it's better than the second half.
If you're cutting it off at West Savannah, then yes.
Yeah.
Because that would put West Savannah, Slump, Skewed on the Barbie, Rosa Parks, Aquemini, Return of the,
Yeah. This one gets better.
This one gets better, but here's what's frightening about it. It's like we understand Criminology is record number 4, Incarcerated Scarfaces is record number 5, Rainy Days is record number 6, Guillotine is record number 7, and we're talking about this album is better on the second half.
Insane.
That's insane. The only album that I think that actually competes with it, energy, production, and rhyme-wise, is actually It Takes a Nation of Millions.
Okay, that does ascend.
That ascends too.
Yeah.
But I still don't think that it's this, because for as great production-wise as It Takes a Nation of Millions is for his time, I think that the Purple Tape is maybe the finest production job in rap history.
I can honestly,
end to end, if we're talking about beats, song sequencing, placing all the people in all the places to succeed.
Yeah. It's a wonderful job by RZA, and I think that even when we hold RZA high, especially for that period, but just all time, that album is a big reason why.
Literally, production-wise, the only thing wrong with this album is that the Knowledge God to Criminology transition is maybe like a half a second to a second too soon in terms of the cutoff and the transition into the next song. Other than that, production-wise, it is literally flawless. Like literally, like that is the only thing when you listen to it end to end that you can hear production, executive production, sequence-wise, where it's like, missed that. Like, are you hearing what I'm saying? It's like I'm talking about a half a second from record 3 to 4 is literally the only production misstep.
Jack777 with the super chat says, Stove just replied to my message saying he's dropping twice this year.
Cool.
Shout out to Stove. He should come through the show too. Leroy Green with the super chat says, I met somebody that knows Shauna from DTP. I'm about to ask her to tap in and come on the show in August. I'll keep you posted. All right, there we go. Leroy Green out here getting guests too. The third host of According to Hip Hop. Keep us posted, Leroy. Colin King with the super chat says, Aquemini is better than the Purple Tape, just my opinion. Listen.
Doesn't have the songs. I love Aquemini.
All right. Let's delve into that. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, I love the Purple Tape, but I think the Infamous was better. Now that I disagree with. Now let's delve into this Aquemini talk. Because I think Aquemini is better than the Purple Tape, but if someone said the Purple Tape is better, I understand 100%. I think I'm looking at it from more of a technical standpoint, a musicality standpoint, a creative standpoint, bar for bar, man. I think they're all on par at that point.
No, they're not, Mike. Aquemini is not on par.
Hold on. You think Raekwon outperformed Andre?
Aquemini is not on par lyrically with the Purple Tape.
You don't think
Mike.
so?
Mike, stop that.
You don't think Andre outperformed Raekwon on that album?
You keep trying to solo it. We talking about the albums. Lyrically, Aquemini is not
Big
on
Boy
the same
too.
No, Mike. No. Like, let's not do that. Like,
why do you feel that way?
Okay, because the Jizza and Inspector Deck have on guest appearances on one song more memorable verses than Andre and Big Boy have for the entirety of Aquemini.
Really?
In terms of hip hop history, yes.
Twice upon a time there was a boy who died.
Poisonous Paragraph smashed the phonograph in half. It'd be the Inspect. Like, stop that, Mike. In the history of hip hop, that Deck verse and that Jizza verse is remembered more than them Andre verses. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You don't have to like it, but it's the truth. And that's just the Deck and Jizza verses. That's just the Deck and the Jizza verses, Mike. You want to start getting into some Ray and Go verse? You want to get to the Nas verse? You want to get to the Meth verse?
We could do that.
It's not the same thing, Mike. You don't even have nothing for the Meth verse. That's what I'm saying. I can hit you. I can hit you with the guest appearance verses.
Wu Gambino?
Yes, the Wu Gambino's verse, the Verbal Intercourse verse, Capadonna's verse on Ice Water, Deck and Jizza's verse on Guillotine. I gave you 5 guest appearance verses. Now give me 5 verses on Aquemini on par with that. I don't even got to get the Ray and Go. This is not a combo.
This is what I will say. The features on the Purple Tape are extremely special. I think the features on Aquemini are special as well.
They're not
Purple
Tape
they're
special.
not those. I agree with that. But I do think that the core group, which is Big Boy and Dre, outperformed Ray and Ghost on this album. Now, I'll give you the features outperformed the features on Aquemini, but the actual guys whose album it is.
You know why you can't say that? Incarcerated Scarfaces.
Incarcerated Scarfaces is awesome. One of my all-time favorites.
Andre, like, as much as I love West Savannah,
it's not that.
It's not that.
Of course not.
Andre ain't catching wreck for no 3 verses nowhere on Aquemini like that. and they're spot rushers.
Spot rushers is crazy.
It's no. And if you really want to know the truth, it's like, well, part of the reason why people love ATLiens so much, sometimes more than Aquemini,
because they rapping.
And the chemistry.
Yeah.
Well, Ray and Ghost ain't got no chemistry issues on the Purple Tape, Mike.
I think the chemistry's fine on Aquemini.
It's fine. It's not Ray and Ghost on the Purple Tape.
It's not.
It's not. Them niggas is NBA Jam, like on fire with the ball, passing it back and forth and like shooting from half court. It's like, no. It's
Michael
not.
Williams with the Super Chat says, I think if Magic didn't exist, Magic 2 just dropped as a standalone project, it would be more appreciated in its own merit. Give it time. I think
musically speaking, Aquemini is better. If you're talking about the musicality, the instrumentation, the diversity.
Yeah, Liberation.
Yeah, Spody Odie. Yeah, artist storytelling
but
too.
also rap shit.
Yeah, Mike, this is hip hop. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, no, it's not. Scriptures hit the body like sawed off shotties. Like my head naughty and my nose piece snotty.
Fucking nigga hottie, that old pussy probably. Burn like the deserts of Mugabe.
For real.
Jay Short.
Ain't nothing fraudulent here. We pioneer. Coming here, a new frontier. This be the woo, 36 chambers of fear,
Man
son.
is special.
You lost them. Information leaking out your faucets. Time to forfeit your crown and leave the grounds.
It's a new sheriff in town holding it down. It's the sixth. That shit crazy, yo. His word placement is some of the best ever.
Might not even be a top 5 verse on that album. That's why when you sitting over here talking about it's Aquemini.
Wanted dead or alive, bounty on the poster.
You talking about Aquemini. That might not even be a top 5 verse on that album.
Where does that rank on Aquemini's verses, though? Aquemini got bar work now.
It would probably be right after Big Boy's verse on Skew It on the Barb and Andre's verse on Aquemini.
Jay Short with the Super Chat says, if I was going to give a non-rap fan an album to start with, it would be Aquemini. Cuban Linx is great, but it's certain style we're biased towards. It's a certain style that we're biased towards.
It's beats and rhymes at the highest level at the end of the day.
It is beats and rhymes. Now, if you want to say that, this is an album
with better beats
at the highest
I'm about to say, name an album with better rhymes, name an album with better beats. It's like, oh, and this is on the same album. It's like, oh, no, this is an all-time album contender. The only thing that you can say about this album is the rhetoric maybe doesn't fit the format of what you would like to project hip-hop to be, but here's the reality of the matter is that this is a street album, and where did hip-hop start?
In the streets, it always will.
So ain't nobody really trying to hear that projection bullshit that people be kicking. I hate when people do that. It's like, oh, you know where this started though, right? Because it didn't start like in the suburb or like in some sort of safe space. It didn't start in a safe space. Yeah. So stop trying to make it safe.
Well, I came across, I think it was...
It can be street and still be art.
On this Men's Health cover, right? Not to skip around too much, it's still on subject.
50 and meth and all them?
Yeah. I saw Men's Health, they were doing it for Hip Hop 50, but they were quoting Chuck D and saying, hip hop being the CNN of the ghetto and this and that. And I thought to myself, like, will it always be like that, or is it always the ghetto? You know what I'm saying? Like, because is hip-hop really the quote-unquote CNN of the ghetto now? Like, it's kind of just black life, period, not just the streets. And honestly, the streets ain't always ghetto either.
I didn't say ghetto.
No, you didn't. But I'm just saying that's the quote that Men's Health magazine used. And I was like, well, maybe that might be an outdated statement for hip-hop now. I mean, I know it used to be that, but
the statement might be outdated, but like the ethos of where hip hop came from never gets outdated. You know what I'm saying?
The grit, you know what I'm saying? And I think this is the perfect album to talk about the that's like,
yes,
it's something
the inner city angst of this album is part of what makes this album. Okay, so.
And that's why it confuses me that people are so shocked with Cube's interviews. Like, So what do we want?
So let's have a quick history talk right quick. Even I can remember, first of all, when I got this tape. This is the album that made me a hip-hop fan. After I heard this tape, this is back when I actually remember the copy of the purple tape. It was literally a purple tape.
Yeah.
I can remember after hearing it the night that I heard it, that I couldn't afford to not be able to afford to buy my own shit from now on. I was tired. Like Illmatic was Six's tape that I bootlegged and dubbed. Tupac Strictly for My Niggas, like all that stuff. Enter the Wu-Tang. Yeah. No, that was all my cousin shit I was jacking. I didn't have my own shit. The purple tape was the one that's like, no, I need to have some money and start buying my own tapes. My man Tremaine that lived in Boulevard Homes, he was me and Six's best friend growing up. He got the tape. And he wanted to listen to the tape, obviously. He went to Freedom Mall. He went and picked up the tape. He came back. He got back at like 7. He was like, I'm going to listen to it. He's like, I'm going to call you when I get done. I'm going to give you the copy, let you come dub the tape. Okay? So he called me when he was done. It was like 10:30 at night. I hopped up, got down. My grandfather owned 7 acres of land on the other side of West Boulevard. So we lived literally about a quarter mile, half a mile up on the hill. So I had to come down this gravel, dark road at night, be snakes, deer, all types of shit out there. This is how serious it was, though. Ran my ass
That's
down
what
there.
Wu-Tang would do.
Yeah. Ran my ass down that hill. Ran across the street to the projects. It's the hood, too. Look, this is the ghetto.
Yeah.
This the hood for real. Run over Tremaine, live in the front of the neighborhood. I'll never forget when he stepped outside because he had this look on his face. He was a big Method Man, an Old Dirty Bastard fan. I'll never forget the look on his face. He was like, he handed me the tape. I was like, I'm going to bring this back to you tonight. He was like, man, you can keep it for a couple days. He's like, I ain't really like it like that.
What?
And he's the one that really put me on Wu-Tang like that, like the meth and the Old Dirty shit and Brooklyn Zoo and Bring the Pain and all that. And I was like, what? So I went back and I went upstairs, living space I shared with my brothers and my sisters and my mom and my granddad's house. And I can remember cutting it on and I was like, oh, that's when I realized Ray and Ghost were different than Meth and Dirty. And I realized how hip hop and cultish Wu-Tang was up until that point. This is the album where Wu-Tang got their street credibility. Meth and Dirty not talking no street shit on Tikal, really, or on Return to the 36 Chambers. Those are what I like to call niche hip-hop albums in a sense, Mike. It's like, no, they got a sound, they got a sense, they got a following, the kung fu thing is working, the beats and the bars is hard. But Meth and Dirt not talking like this. And this is what I mean, it was different. Like, I was listening to the albums. First of all, I didn't know what the hell they were saying for the first few songs.
Right.
Because I'm 13. I ain't never heard nobody talk like this. And so it's kind of hard to get a hold of. And I think that's what happened to Tremaine. But Rainy Days came on, Mike. And I was like, when Keitha's singing, and then they used the little kung fu sample, I sing for him, and he isn't here. And then the birds start squawking, and the beat drops. And then Ghost comes in talking about, words, some niggas just robbed my gate. I was like, that's more like Boulevard Homes, Little Rock, Wilmore, West Boulevard. Like, I was like, they from here.
They got an edge.
They from here. So Rainy Days was the record where I was like, oh no, Wu-Tang is like, oh, these dudes from the neighborhood. Like, Ray and Ghost was talking different. And so, yeah, there was that fascination factor where it was like, well, Ray and Ghost are more relatable than Dirt and Meth, even if they're not the stars that they are.
And then we get to some of these super chats, yeah. Michael Williams with the super chat says, it's not flawless, but I can forgive any missteps that occur in an effort to try new ideas. Dope to see Nas/Hit pushing the envelope. I think he's talking about Magic too. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. I know we got a couple of more super chats. Yeah. Humble Bragger with the super chat says, anybody mad at Cube is simply emotional and ignorant. I don't know anything about politics and definitely not on the side. I'm sorry. I don't know and don't know anything about he didn't say I don't know. He said and don't know anything about politics and definitely not on the side of black people. For sure. Colin King with the super chat says Coop got purple tape over Aquemini because of sentimental value.
That's not true. Aquemini came out my senior year of high school. There was a lot of sentimental value for me.
Yeah, that was my junior year.
It's the best album. Yeah, it's the best rap album my senior year of high school.
Jay Short with the super chat
in a great
says,
year.
Right. He said, when I think of streets, I think grassroots. The revolutionaries, anti-establishments. I don't think of the streets that mean illegal activity.
See, I hate when people say that. That's what I mean is like, well, since when does the activity matter on the other side, whether it's illegal or not?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? It's like people always want to talk about the illegal activity side when literally the album starts off with them saying, I'm not trying to sit on a quarter or half a mil and be a drug dealer all my life. It's not a rap album about getting in the game. It's a rap album about getting the fuck out.
Yeah.
On rainy days, I sit back and count ways on how to get rich, son. Show and prove, ask my bitch, stood up late nights, building with my air likes. We can pull a heist, snatch ice, or do what? Or rock mics, but this rap shit. That's why I hate when people talk about this album like that. It's like, they're talking about getting out, not getting in, right?
I think this album is a gateway for the Reasonable Doubts. It gives us the Reasonable Doubts.
Next point. This is what I mean. I didn't understand what they're talking about. When Ray is on Guillotine, the RZA pour more beats than Cristal's fine wine. I don't know what the fuck Cristal is when I'm 13.
Yeah.
On Glaciers of Ice.
Nobody else was rapping about Cristal at the time.
Not no 1995.
Nah.
When he's on Glaciers of Ice, rap Meyer Lansky, Crash Your Fantasy. I'm like, who the hell is Meyer Lansky?
Was Big rhyming about Cristal at that point? I don't think so.
All that in a bottle of Dom P.
It's true. And Big was listening to Only Built for Cuban Linx heavy.
Of course. Well, he's part of the legend of the album.
Well, okay, let's go here. What albums would you put ahead of it? Now, I personally would put Aquemini ahead of it just as an overall piece of work. Now, if we talking about on some rap shit, I get you.
See, but even when you say overall piece of work, it's like, well, you can't say overall piece of work when it can't go song for song, because it can't. And that's the thing with Aquemini, with a lot of those all-time great rap albums, is that musically, Aquemini is better than those albums. Now, go song for song with it, though. Because all that musicality stuff, it's like, no, like, you can be great at musicianship, and the record still not be as good. The record still needs to be there.
Return of the Gangster.
Return of the Gangster's better than Knuckleheads, yes.
Okay. We got Rosa Parks.
Knowledge God. I'll take Rosa Parks over Knowledge God.
All right, Skew It on the Barbie.
Criminology.
Whew. That's a good one. That could be a wash, man.
We can wash that and be fair.
That could be a wash.
But like I said, no album ascends like this album. That's why I'm over here looking at you like, yeah, okay, that's fine.
All right, Aquemini.
Incarcerated Scarfaces.
That's Incarcerated Scarfaces, and Aquemini's a great record. Synthesizer.
Rainy Days.
It's Rainy Days.
Watch the ascension happen.
Okay. Then we got Slump.
Guillotine.
Guillotine.
Right.
West Savannah.
Can It All Be So Simple remix. That's West Savannah, in my opinion. I think the Can It Be So Simple remix is actually the weakest song on the Purple Tape.
Then you got Art of Storytelling.
Ice Water.
Jeez. I don't know, man. I lean towards Ice Water, but there could be an argument made on both.
You can make the argument. I lean towards Ice Water, too. Ice Water, for me, is actually my favorite record on the Purple Tape, probably.
Well, you know what? It's funny. These two records line up, and these are two of my favorite records on both albums, really. Art of Storytelling, too.
Glaciers of Ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I'm still going to go Glaciers of Ice.
Right. Keep going, Mike. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. After that, I'm going Mamacita.
Yeah, Verbal Intercourse.
That's Verbal Intercourse. Spodiote Doublelicious.
Wisdom Body. That's Spodiote.
Spodiote. Y'all Scared. Incredible record.
Y'all Scared is Spot Rushers.
Now I like Y'all Scared better than Spot Rushers, but that could go either way.
I think that's kind of the toss-up, like the Criminology and Skew It on the Barb type of thing.
That could go either way. Then after that, I think it's that Freestyle, then it's Liberation.
Yeah. Ice Cream.
And then you got Chunky 5.
Wu Gambinos.
And then that's it. And then you got more.
And then I still got Heaven and Hell. That's what I'm saying. Is it's like, no, like I love Aquemini, but it's like it's still not enough. Not for that. You see how it just keeps going?
Did I skip anything?
No. Nathaniel. You want to count Nathaniel?
No, I'm not counting
Right.
Nathaniel.
No, then you counted everything.
And rest in peace to him, man. He just passed not too long ago.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Bleaches with the super chat says no one else wants to say it. Blue Raspberry voice is so grating. She's awful on Rainy Days.
Was that who that is, Blue Raspberry?
Worst song on the album because of her.
Oh,
now
no.
her voice is.
Yeah, her voice is not like. But how about
it's
this?
Raining.
But that was one of the dope things even about the album is like they kept it like super
straight.
Like,
yeah,
like that's what I mean.
It's gritty. Like if it was
gritty.
too polished, do you want Mary J. Blige singing that?
I don't. That's what I mean. What makes rain, hail, snow, and earth break the.
But that's what made Wu dope too, where it was like everything was so raw, especially when we're talking about that first chamber. And I hate to say this, and they improved, but when they got more polished, it took something away from that original
all that clean
Wu
sounding
aura.
stuff. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I feel like the last Wu album that we got that was in that vein might have been The Pillage from Kappa.
That had some of that graininess to it that you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, when you got slang editorial and shit like that.
Rain and Ghost are great on Rainy Days. That's wild.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. What albums do you actually have ahead of Only Built for Cuban Linx?
I mean, just like that's what I'm saying. Like toe to toe, there's nothing better than it. It's like on my list, I have Illmatic at 1 and the Purple Tape at 2. Aquemini typically tends to be on my personal list about 3. Yeah, but not the purple tape. It's just not. Like, there's nothing like it. It's like, you can line up It Takes a Nation too, Mike. It's like, it's not going.
It Takes a Nation is, you know what? I'm cool with saying
You can line
It
up The
Takes a
Chronic
Nation.
too.
Yeah. I'm cool with saying It Takes a Nation is the greatest hip-hop album ever made.
Line it up right now, then. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you can line up The Chronic and line up It Takes a Nation. It's like, it doesn't ascend like that. Like, how about this? The Chronic gonna lose like all them records at the end from like 12 all the way to the end. The Chronic losing all them records to the purple tape. Ain't no Spot Rushers or Verbal Intercourse or Ice Cream or Wu Gambinos on the back end of the Chronic. I'm sorry. Rat-a-tat-tat.
So people are asking for the Cube topic. We're going to get to it. Y'all stay tuned. We're going to get to this Cube topic.
Yeah.
Cube said racism isn't that big anymore. And I knew, all right, when I looked at the whole interview, I knew that was the part that people were going to hone in on.
Right.
And exploit. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
but let's finish talking about the purple tape. You guys can, sit back and enjoy this greatness. This is the top 5 hip-hop album. Y'all don't have it in your top 5? Because I do.
Yeah, I think it should be in everybody's top 5.
I think it should. Along with the Doggy Styles and Chronics are kind of interchangeable in that sense. This album's important, and I think we give the Infamous a lot of importance, as we should. This album is important in the Infamous vein. It's important in the Reasonable Doubt vein. If people hold Reasonable Doubt high, you have to hold this album high.
It's just not an album like with the beats and the rhymes like this. It's just not. You can't find beats this good and rhymes this good on any other rap album that's been made, in my opinion, consistently. It's like the records on here. Like, think about the records on here that like aren't like Infamous, so to speak. Like, that would be like Knowledge God, Wisdom Body, Knuckleheads. It's like
crazy records.
Those are crazy records.
I was listening to Abstract Radio a couple of years ago. Q-Tip had Raekwon on, and I hate that they stopped doing Abstract Radio. Somebody got to give me an answer to why that happened over there at Apple Music. But anyway, Q-Tip had Raekwon on there, and they were celebrating the purple tape, and they just played the album, and the shit's crazy.
Shit
like,
don't make no sense.
Q-Tip's going crazy in there playing these records. Like, he's playing Spot Rushers, like, yo.
I can remember my head exploding when this was the thing. It was like, when you heard the first side, you were like, wow. Then you flip the tape, it's like, shh. And they started talking that shit, Mike, and I was like, it was like, even the young me knew, everybody knew what he was talking about.
Oh, you're talking about
because the second side starts with Shark Biters and then it goes into Ice. Mike, no rap album starts off on the second side like that, because it's like, oh shit, like, these niggas is wild.
What you think about them coming at Biggie at the time? Melvin Wright with the super chat says, you make me better by Fab is a sample of Rainy Days sped up. Never knew that.
Me neither.
But yeah, what did you think about him coming at Fab? I mean, not Fab. Raekwon and Ghost coming at Big at that time.
I mean, it was true. They did bite Nas's album cover for Ready to Die, like they did. That's why I was like, okay, so everybody kind of saw that happen. Yeah. But it wasn't that they talked shit, because here was what I was thinking in my mind. If you were to say, how about this? I think the first half of Ready to Die and the first half of the purple tape are actually comparable. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Second half's not comparable though. So it's the fact that they talk that shit, and then for the next 9 songs they just set up there and hit home runs, Mike, because they just proceeded to knock the shit out the park from there. And so it's one of those moments. It's like, well, I don't know if anybody's talked that much bigger shit about somebody so big at the time that's from like close to them, like that. But then they went out and it's like, oh, well, I'm not sure if he want to fuck with that.
Well, this is what I will tell you.
And he didn't, just so we're clear. He never said,
no. And Ready to Die is great. And we've had conversations about that album.
It's not this.
On this show. I think the biggest difference is the production.
No, it's the rhymes,
and
too.
I think the rhymes are elevated as well. No, it is. It is. But the productions, and I love Ready to Die's production.
Easy Mo B.
I think Easy Mo B did his thing.
He did.
We should have him on the show, too.
Machine
I would
Gun
love
Funk,
to talk to
Ready
Easy
to Die.
Mo B.
Yeah.
I think Easy Mo B could be next to Prince Paul. Actually, you know what?
He might be more underrated.
He might be more underrated than Prince Paul, because he's made important records for Big, Pac, Busta. Yeah, he might be the most underrated producer of all time. And he did his thing on there.
He made Flavor in Year, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be
and he
him.
doesn't get that. Yeah. He should be on everybody's list somewhere.
Might be him.
Straight up.
Might be easy.
But even with that being said,
it ain't this. That's why I keep trying to tell you.
Like, it ain't this. Production-wise.
The Purple Tape is one of those albums.
Can you imagine Big rapping over Ice Cream?
We don't need to. We have Method Man rapping over Ice Cream. Yeah. No, we don't need to ask those type of questions.
Yeah. So we needed a remix with Method Man doing the. I wish we could have gotten an Ice Cream remix.
No. See that?
Put some more Wu members on there.
No.
Who had the best verse on Ice Cream? Chocolate Girl wanted to shake round like thunder. Politics to your deficit. Steph, give me your number.
How about this? I think technically it's Kappa, but there's something about how Ghost starts off Ice Cream that I really like.
It's a lot of personality.
If I was Jiggy, you'd be spotted like Spud McKenzie. I'm high powered, put Adina Howard to sleep. Your partner. It's been online all week.
That was the most memorable.
But back to you, Maybelline Queen. Let's make a team. You can have anything in this world except cream.
So what you want to do? You want to do? I like how Ray came in there too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's all great.
Shallon's finest. What up, boo? Peace, your highness. Yo, I'm lounging. Man, y'all niggas is flyers.
Meth is still the scene stealer. It's the hook,
he is.
Mike. It's the
even
hook.
on the video.
Even on the bridge, Mike.
Wu-Tang in the cut.
For real, niggas.
Listen,
what?
Man.
That's the best part of the song, Mike. That's the best part of the song is when he does that little freestyle back into the hook. That's the best part of Ice Cream.
In my youth, Ice Cream, Shadowboxing, and How High are some of my favorite hip-hop moments.
No, it's some of the best rap stuff ever, Mike. Because it's some of the best rap stuff ever. Like, your ears weren't deceiving you. It's like we were listening to some of the best rap stuff ever out of Meth. And he did. Like,
Wu-Tang was something different, and this album epitomizes
This was the album when that's what I'm saying. It wasn't a moment, Mike. You didn't realize how great they truly were until this happened. You just knew it was innovative and fresh, and you knew Meth and Dirty were stars. When Ray and Ghost make this album, it's like, oh, these niggas are a problem. As in, like, all of them.
Collectively.
Like all of them. Has an eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a motherfucking nigga from Wu-Tang. Mike, they are all rapping. You God, Mike.
I was going to say, I'd be
Master Killer on Glaciers of Ice.
I was just about to say, You God probably has my favorite You God verse on that album.
Verse. It's the best Master Killer verse.
I think it is.
Proceed with caution as you enter the symphony. Degrees of punishment increase intensely. Syndrome is swung by the deadly drums, but the battle is won by swords being swung. It's like I'm with the vocal from the international vocalist. Your style is too local to fuck with this. All fits from antagonists. No resistance. Moving, motionless, mysterious swiftness. Thoughts roll down the shaft of the brains. Mental gives the signal to the physical. Whirlwind kicks and hits from every angle. Jeez. Violent temperaments. Left continents dented. Poison vintage wine rhymes I invented. That's the Master Killer verse, Mike. And you talking about Aquemini lyrically is on par with the Purple Tape, Mike. You were smoking, nigga.
Yo, Ray's verse on Glaciers of Ice was crazy.
Yo, Ghost verse on Ice Water. Check out the rap Kingpin, the Black Jesus. I know a few niggas stiff coke and cause seizures.
I like Kappa on there too.
Piece to half. I like Ray on Ice Water. That's why Ice Water is my favorite song.
That break that
Ray
had.
The breakdown when the scratches are happening and he's catching the scratches, his flow is sick on there.
Yeah.
This nigga's catching scratches on a beat break.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says, can you guys do a Purple Tape versus All Eyes on Me disc 1?
You don't want to do that either.
Humble Brag with the super chat says, when I first heard Only Built for Cuban Linx, I remember when I heard the coke sniffing on track 3 and knew this rap, this was rap, street rap, uncut. Jay Short with the super chat says, to clarify, I don't have a problem with any of the rhetoric on Cuban Linx. I just think that because it's more street corner content, it makes it automatically better or more lyrical than Aquemini. I will say this. And I think Aquemini is really high.
Hold on. What about that Master Killer verse was so street? That's why I'm saying it's like, no, you don't get to say that.
It's that edge.
I think that the nigga don't get mad. I got mad styles of my own, and it's shown when my hands grip the chrome microphone. That ain't talking about like sniffing coke. That's why I'm saying it's like, no, you don't get to do that.
I do think that Aquemini may lack the edge, just to be subjective here. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, be objective here, rather. I think Aquemini could lack the edge that many of the all-time great albums have. Because when you talk about You talk about Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation. That shit has edge.
Right. And the rhetoric isn't street rhetoric,
it's
quote
extreme.
unquote.
Yeah, I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened it, read it, said it was suckers. It's like even the production, it's like it's in your face.
That's what I mean.
It's that straight out of Compton shit like
Purple
that.
Tape and It Takes a Nation. Those are the albums where it's like, oh no, that shit is all up in your face.
The Chronic has edge. Doggy Style has edge. You know what I'm saying?
Infamous.
And I love Aquemini, and I have Aquemini very, very high. I'm the one that wrote an article saying that pound for pound, I can see it being the greatest hip hop album ever. But it does lack the edge that some of these albums have. And that's not even just the East Coast thing. I went out west with it too. So, I mean, that's just the real. Honestly, objectively, Southern Playalistic has slightly more of an edge than Aquemini.
Oh, it has way more edge than Aquemini, not slightly.
Yeah.
How about this?
Nice.
How about this? If
y'all scared's the edge, actually.
I was actually thinking, yeah, it is.
It is.
And Mamacita.
And
Skew It on the Bar with Raekwon.
Yeah. And I was gonna say Art of Storytelling 2.
Art of Storytelling 2 has some of that graininess.
Yeah.
But how about this? If Aquemini has some of Southern Playalistic's edge, now we're having a fair conversation with the Purple Tape. But it's not a fair conversation, even though I have them in some pretty rarefied air together. They're both in my top 5 rap albums, personally. But yeah, if I'm being objective, Mike, I was playing the Purple Tape on the way here, and I was like, nah, ain't no shit better than this. I was like, yeah, show me. That's why I was like, pick an album, go play the records, because it's like, while your record, wherever your record ends, guess what? I was like, I'm still gonna be playing great records. Keep on.
Yeah, and it's a lengthy album.
That's what I mean. No, there's not a rap album with this many dope songs on it in the history of rap. It's like there's not one, not one album. Not one album. There's not one album with this many dope songs on it. You can go pull up Death Certificate. You can go pull up It Takes a Nation of Millions.
It Takes a Nation will be my pick.
Illmatic and Paid in Full ain't long enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Aquemini not edgy enough.
Yeah.
The infamous songs ain't as good from end to end. The highlights are comparable, but real. End to end, no. Reasonable Doubt actually suffers from what some of Aquemini suffer from. The talk is street, but the production's not super edgy.
Yeah.
Production's not even fucking with the Purple Tape on Reasonable Doubt. Second half of Ready to Die is nowhere near as good as the second half of the Purple Tape. It's no, it ascends and starts stepping on great albums. Get Rich or Die Trying, the first half could probably hold with the Purple Tape. Second half is not going to hold.
No, that's
21 Questions is not beating No Verbal Intercourse or No Wisdom Body.
No, that's
and I Like My Style is not beating Spot Rushers. You know what I'm saying? It's no, that shit ain't happening. Go pick a Kanye album. Go pick a Kanye album. You don't want to do it.
I mean, if I were to pick a Kanye album to match up with this, it would have to be the College Dropout.
Mike, what if Jesus Walks was up against Incarcerated Scarfaces? Which one would you pick?
I would pick Incarcerated Scarface.
Okay, just so we're clear.
But
just so we're clear,
I could see people picking Jesus Walks.
It's not a better record.
Blue Collar Hustle with the Super Chat says, can you speak about your feelings regarding the Only Built for Cuban Linx Part 2? I think it's the best sequel album in hip-hop. It's a dope sequel. I hate it happens so much.
The Carter 2 comes to mind.
The Carter 2?
The Carter 2 comes to mind. The Purple Tape 2 and the Carter 2 come to mind as the best sequels, so just off the top of my head. For me, the Carter 2 is so special because it's so much better than the Carter 1, and I thought the Carter 1 was pretty dope. You know what I'm saying?
See that.
It's the jump, too. It's I was like, oh, no. It's when, that's the one with Best Rapper Alive. I was like, no, he's not absurd for saying that right now based on what I am hearing on this album. You know what I mean?
So you got Purple Tape, number 2 all time.
Mm-hmm. If you told me it was number 1, it's no. There's viable evidence for that, all across the board. There's not a better beat tape album. There's not an album with better beats either. There's not.
You drive a hard bargain, man. I already got it in my top 5, man.
I mean, It Takes a Nation was the only one that I thought about. How about this? When Ice Water and Glaciers of Ice come on, it's oh no, niggas is not competing with that, right. On their records. It's oh no, I love, how about this? It's what's track 11? Okay, look at it like this. Track 10, 11, 12 on Ready to Die is Juicy, Everyday Struggle, and Me and My Bitch. Ice Water, Glaciers of Ice, and Verbal Intercourse. It's yeah, Biggie not winning that. You know what I'm saying?
No,
that's the strong part of Ready to Die, Mike.
That's fair.
It's not winning that. Well, that's Ready to Die.
You ready to go ahead and move on? Because I know we don't have a whole lot of time today. Should we go to this Cube thing or this Drake thing? Let's go ahead and go to Cube, man.
Right, because I feel like we're going to be talking about Cube more than we want to. We should be talking about the purple tape more, but that's neither here nor there.
We can always talk about the purple tape.
What's the top 5 verses on the purple tape?
I think Nas has the best verse on the purple tape.
That might be the best
Verbal
verse
Intercourse.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should have said, what's 2, 3, 4, 5?
I'm going to go, man, Guillotine has some fire on it, so I might go Inspector on Guillotine 2.
Okay. I'm
going to spread it around and, you know what I'm saying, go Ray on Glaciers of Ice. Then I'll probably go Jizza on Guillotine. And then I might go Ray first verse on Incarcerated Scarfaces. Or, no, I'm going to go Spot Rushes.
Verbal Intercourse. I would actually go Jizza's verse on Guillotine, and then Deck's verse on Guillotine. And then I'm going to Ray's second verse on Incarcerated Scarfaces. Actually, I think that one, and then I would probably, to be honest with you, it's a toss-up to me between that Meth verse on Wu Gambino's, that Master Killer verse on Glaciers of Ice, or that Ghostface verse on Ice Water.
Ghost killed Ice Water.
Ghost killed Ice Water.
Ghost actually killed Verbal Intercourse, too.
He did. It just...
You know, Nas just on there doing what he did.
Ray and Ghost are like epic on Verbal Intercourse. I don't think people understand.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Ghost kept going,
perhaps
too. Like,
bullets bust, niggas discuss real money, true lies, and white guys. We can see it through the eyes. Catch the most on tape. Kilos disintegrate. Pyrex spots. We break fiends licking plates in the building. Niggas building like little children staring. Them older niggas ain't caring. Fiends are circling. One is yeah, they're going in on there. It's just Nas just did that shit.
Yeah. Ghost went for like 24 bars or whatever. Incredible record.
That's what I mean, Mike. The adjectives and the superlatives about this album are just endless. There's so many places to go. Like, there's literally so many places to go. It's like you got a verse like RZA's verse on Wu Gambino's. That's like an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's an afterthought, boss. You got
forgot about RZA's verse on Wu Gambino.
That's what I mean. That's how great this album is.
Crazy.
He went crazy on there. So afterthought is a verse on here.
That's an awesome verse. You know what? I'm gonna have to put that one in the 5 too. Yeah, RZA should get props.
It's crazy how many great verses, but then it's like
everybody gave their A game.
But Mike, you want to know how they did? Go back and listen to the beats.
Yeah, the beats is crazy.
I told you, Ice Water is shadowboxing before shadowboxing. Like when I heard that shit come on, like Mike, I can remember like my head exploded. I'd never heard nothing. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, is this nigga using a sample and scratching at the same time? It was. I was like, yo, I ain't heard no shit. Like I was just sitting there. I can remember taking Tremaine the tape back the next morning. And I was like, he was like, I told you could keep it. I said, nah, you need to listen again. And I gave him his tape back.
And you went and got yours.
No, I didn't. I didn't have no damn money. I was still broke. But by the time Liquid Swords and Do or Die came out, I had some money. I still had my purple tape dub. But right after the next time I got some money, you know what I did? I went and bought Illmatic, Ready to Die, and the purple tape. But I bought Liquid Swords and Do or Die first because they were coming out when I finally got some money. But that was the goal after the purple tape. It was like, I'm not dubbing nobody's shit no more.
Shout out to the purple tape. Shout out to Ray and Ghost.
And the tape was purple. I'm a Prince fan. He's like, man, I don't know. He's like, these niggas made the tape purple like it's a bootleg or some shit. Yeah. I can remember I was like, I think it's fire. I was like, this shit's great.
KC1 with
it had the little loud with the headphones on it. You remember the little loud sign on it with the headphones and all? Yeah, that shit was great. The writing was like a little different, like the script that they used. Yeah, it was something.
They were all in on that. KC1 with the super chat says, Nas had the best verse. Well, I think we all kind of got there.
I think all the rap gods know that.